Hello everyone, and today we are talking about Amnesia the Bunker. This is a video where I've been really trying to get this video out as soon as possible, but I just couldn't find the time as of right now. But today we are going to talk about this game and what I thoroughly love about this game, and there's only one minor flaw that I will mention here real quick, is the fact that there is a little bit, actually a couple of flaws. One in particular is to where it's like once you find oil cans within the world of this game, you are able to use these oil cans and using them in a generator as to keeping the lights on. That's where this game really handles some type of inventory management. However, another thing is though too is that you have to keep these lights on if you do not want to be found by the beast. Yes, there is a creature of the night in this game, and that's where this game kind of shines in terms of, playing that cat and mouse type of game. Now, this is where the bunker really sits further from the truth, or further from what the original Amnesia the Dark Descent did. Amnesia the Dark Descent is one of those games to where it felt like a little bit of a cat and mouse, but it was more of a game to where there was a lot of utilization of puzzle solving and some, venturing around in that castle within the world of the Dark Descent. But with the Amnesia the Bunker, it's one of those games to where it's like what I previously mentioned, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Now, what I love about this game in general, other than what I previously mentioned, is the fact that this game has a world of exploration. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of exploration involved within the world of Amnesia the Bunker. And it's not just because of the inventory management that you have to use or how you're going to utilize it. It has to do with what you find and what you will want to keep in your inventory, such as your weapons like your revolvers or gas grenades or a shotgun if you end up getting a shotgun within the world of this game as well. And that's where this game really, like I said, that's where this game really shines. It gives you a lot of type of replayability because there are different types of playthroughs that you can do within the world of Amnesia the Bunker. And that's where this game really falls under where it plays similarly to that of the Dark Descent. But with Amnesia the Bunker, it's a game to where you can utilize and how to differentiate of how you play. This game requires a lot of, I wouldn't say skill, it has to do with what you're going to do and how you're going to achieve it, as I previously mentioned. And I think that's a really good thing as far as, making a new Amnesia game. There is one thing I will put in here as well. I was kind of thoroughly taken aback from this game at first because I wasn't initially going to get it. But once I heard nothing but pretty good reviews on this game, I'm like, okay, I want to get this game. I want to see what I can do, how to get through it, and what I could be able to achieve in order to obtain certain types of items. And like I said, with each playthrough, it's going to be different. And so I'm actually going on a current second playthrough. And there's one thing I will tell you, that the second playthrough of this game is very different from what I anticipated, from what I thought what my initial first playthrough was. It was something had to do with when you're inside the bunker and you're near the generator to where you have to use the oil cans to obtain that inventory management, and being able to use those oil canisters and keep that generator alive by keeping the lights on. Now, what I was going to say about that is the fact that the door in the area to where close to where the generator is, you have two doors. You are able to lock them and unlock them. But one of the doors had a combination lock on my second playthrough. On my first playthrough, it did not have a combination lock. So see where I was going with this, with the difference of playthroughs that you're able to do within this game? Yes, there are differences. And that's where this game really shines, opposite that of, like the gameplay of, being able to defend yourself. And I think that's another reason why I think Amnesia the Bunker really sets it apart from that of the first original Amnesia the Dark Descent, or other Amnesia games like A Machine for Pigs or Amnesia Justine. But however, I think when it comes to Amnesia the Bunker, this game is, I wouldn't say it's my all-time favorite of the Amnesia franchise, But however, I do believe that it's my second favorite from that of the Dark Descent because it's the utilization of what you can do. And that's another thing though too. It's like what you can be able to do, with the Beast. I have no idea who the Beast is. I'm still trying to figure that part out. But I have some suspicions or some theories. But however, I think when it comes to this game, it really just gives you a certain type of mystery. I love a game that has good mystery to it. And that's where I was going to say, though, too, is that Amnesia, the Dark Descent did that for me, though, as well. That game had a lot of mystery to it. And I think Amnesia, the Bunker really captures that very, 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 very well from what Amnesia, the Bunker did. And that's where I believe that why Amnesia the Bunker is my second favorite Amnesia game of all time, opposite that of the Dark Descent. Now, it's the fact that, by defending yourself. I think defending yourself is definitely one of the greatest utilizations in a game like this because I think that frictional games did a really good job of wanting to defend yourself because in the previous Amnesia games, you are not able to do that. And that's where I feel like that I'm like, okay, I like I said, I was taken aback from this game quite a bit before I initially played all the way through it. But however, that's where I felt like I'm like I said, yeah, I want to play this game. I want to get through it and see what it's like. And what I will say about the environment of this game, I think the environment in this game it's dark, obviously, as you see here. It's cathartic because of the horror aspect and the psychological, supernatural type of thriller to it. And that's where this game really falls very importantly, especially when it comes to games like this. I do believe when it comes to psychological horror games, much like Layers of Fear, I mean, you are not able to defend yourself in that game, but that does have some type of horror, cathartic type of feel to it because it's that psychological horror. And that's where I believe that's where the Amnesia games really did a good job, especially the first one. I think the first one, The Dark Descent, did a really good job of its atmosphere and its world building by its environment and how you're able to utilize certain types of ways to get through a certain type of progression system in that game. And it had to do with that there are puzzles in this game as well. There are different ways of how you can utilize to go through certain types of areas by... you have to venture on through this game, and that's where this game really does a really good job of its exploration. I think when it comes to exploration games, much like Amnesia the Bunker, or much like Amnesia the Dark Descent, because Amnesia the Dark Descent didn't really have more than one initial type of playthrough that you can do, much like that you can do with the Bunker, because with the Bunker, like I said, you are able to utilize different types of tactics of what you can do to achieve a certain type of goal and how to get there, because, you have the tunnels, you have a prison. I mean, this whole entire bunker is one substantiated fulcrum of a whole entire map. And this whole entire map of the bunker really sets it apart from what the original Dark Descent did. Yes, it was one big map as well, but you were pretty much going all over the place. And, the bunker kind of does that, though, too. So I'm kind of contradicting myself, so my apologies. But that's where I think the bunker really just does a really good job in all aspects and gameplay aesthetics to where it knows what it's doing. And that's where I say, that's why I feel like that this game really does a really good job of just utilizing a certain way of venturing through specific types of areas, collecting dog tags. Now, that's one thing I really want to talk here, though, too, is that you're able to collect dog tags. And, some of these dog tags will have codes on the back of them. So be aware if you're going to be collecting dog tags. Those are going to help you go back to a certain type of area to where they have lockers. And these lockers will have combinations on them as well. Much like I previously mentioned about my first initial playthrough and how it was so different from that of my second playthrough. So now, on my second playthrough, I noticed when I picked up the dog tag and it had a code on the back of it, obviously, and I was able to actually get the shotgun pretty quickly. And another dog tag that I was actually initially able to pick up to where I was actually able to get a mechanical wheel and open up two more specific type of areas that I couldn't initially get to when in my initial playthrough. And that's where I was saying that this game really does a really good job of utilizing of the of adventuring through specific types of areas that you can normally can't reach very in the beginning of the game. And I think that's where this game really, like I said, I know I'm harping on this quite a bit or maybe repeating myself, so my apologies on that. But that's where this game really does a good job of what it wants to do and how it's utilizing that. And that's where I think the bunker really does a good job of its exploration. I think the exploration in this game is far more greater because you, like I said, you are able to find specific types of things, much like the oil canisters, to fulfill the generator and being able to keep the lights on to keep the beast at bay. You are able to find other types of other dog tags that will have certain types of codes on them to go inside along with those lockers, and picking up certain types of notes that will give away certain types of information, which is really compelling because it tells that part of the story. And there are some notes as well to where it's kind of like an audio tape together mixed into it, and that's where I feel like that this game just does a really good job of its storytelling. And I think that's where the Dark Descent did it so well, though, too. Much like from what the Dark Descent did in terms of its environmental storytelling and how it's going to utilize that very well. And that's where I believe, like I said, Amnesia: The Dark Descent is my #1 favorite of all time, and Amnesia: The Bunker is my second. Now, what I will put in turn here is I really think that this is a really good game to play. If you want to be able to have good exploration type of management and being able to just utilize yourself of knowing what other different types of play styles you can do, not play styles, but playthroughs that you can do, because like I said, they are going to be different. Like I said, I have encountered numerous of things of what each playthrough will be differently and how it's going to play out. And I would say that there are some narrative consequences I've also actually known to see or listen to or read through when it comes to the notes. But however, I think that's where Amnesia: The Bunker really does a magnificent job of just a really good environmental storytelling and overall structure of this game. I really love the structure of this game. I think it's one of the best I've seen, opposite of that of Machine for Pigs, but I haven't played it all the way through that game. I intend to, and I'll probably maybe end up making a video on that one as well, but we'll see what happens here. But however, I do think that when it comes to Amnesia: The Bunker, this game is going to be, I don't know, I think it's a really good additional to the Amnesia franchise. I really hope that they will eventually make more. I have no doubts. There is a game called Soma, which is made by the same company that made the Amnesia series. And, that's one thing, though, too. I've thought about making a video on that one, but I'm not so sure because I feel like that one is a little bit, for me, a little too complex. But as far as, making videos on Amnesia: The Dark Descent like I did, and making a video on Amnesia: The Bunker, these games to me feel like that they are much more easier to do. I feel like that Soma is going to be a little bit more difficult, but we'll see how that goes if that were to happen. So what I will say here is that, do I highly recommend playing this game? Absolutely. I mean, I really do think that you will be immersed in a game like this. There is one thing I do want to go back to, is not what I previously mentioned, or for what I was going to initially say, is that, if you find the shotgun or you will eventually get the pistol pretty early on in the game, keep your ammo as much as you can. Do not use it all the time because you will need it, especially if the beast finds you. You can shoot at the beast and be able to defend yourself, so that way you will not be able to get attacked. I have been attacked way too many times from the beast, and I finally realized that, that's where, like I said, that's where the inventory management is very heavily influenced on this game. It does a good job of reminding you that, you need to look in your inventory management. You need to know what you're going to be able to do and how you're going to keep it open to certain types of items, because you will need to have certain types of inventory spots open, so that way you can be able to pick up specific things that you initially would want to keep, especially the weapons that when you defend yourself, much like the pistol. Because, well, not really much like the pistol, but you know the pistol is going to be your main weapon. But when you find a gas mask, or if you find a shotgun, or if you find any other weapons, I don't know if there's any other weapons in this game, you would want to keep those weapons because you will eventually find ammunition into the world of Amnesia, the bunker. So I do highly advise that. What I will say, like I said before, I do highly recommend playing this game. I think you will not be disappointed. Like I said, I love the structure of it. I love the concept of it. And it really takes me back to what Amnesia the Dark Descent initially did for me as far as when it comes to cathartic, psychological, supernatural type of horror games like this. But anyways, this is Citizen JVM. I'll chat with you guys later. Have a good rest of your weekend. I'll chat with you guys later. Peace.